with your name and where you're from.
I'm Caroline, and I am from Durham, North Carolina, in the United States.
So tell me a little about your summer.
When I came to Nesiya, I wasn't really sure what to expect because I've never been to Israel before, so it was like a totally new experience, and I was a little bit nervous because I don't speak Hebrew, and I basically never met anyone on the program before, so I was kind of nervous about that. But it was really amazing for me to not only like get to see Israel and like be here in a place that's like there's so much conflict and there's so much history, and I mean it's a really cool place, so that was really amazing to be in a place like that. But it was also really cool to get to meet people, first of all, from all over the states that have like different religious backgrounds that are like similar to or different from mine, but then also like to meet Israelis was like it sounds kind of cheesy, but like that's really what made the experience for me, because like I feel like on a lot of other programs like I would never have gotten to do that, and like I would never have gotten to see that whole aspect of like what Israel is like. Like for me, a lot of like what was hard and what was challenging was like hearing beliefs or like opinions, political opinions or religious opinions or whatever, that like I knew existed and I knew were out there, but I never heard anyone actually say them out loud. I never heard anyone like give real reasons behind them, and it was just really amazing for me not only to hear them and to hear the reasons behind them and like why they make sense, but also to associate those things with like the face and the personality of someone that I really like know and connect to on a personal level. So it was just an amazing experience for me, for like one of the first times in my life to be able to like disagree with someone and like have really intense conversations with them, but to like know that I respect them and that I still like love them at the end of the day, as cheesy as that sounds. So that was really cool.
Great. Something you learned about yourself this summer.
Something I learned about myself. Well, a couple things. First of all, I guess it's not really learning, but like rediscovering. I rediscovered how much I love doing art, because that's something that kind of disappeared from my life for a little while. In high school, I was like doing a lot of other stuff, and getting to do that again and having the freedom to do that, and the like being encouraged to ask questions and like express the answers to those questions or the process to answering those questions through art was like a really different and amazing experience, and it made me want to do that more. And like so I rediscovered that about myself, which was really exciting, and I'm going to do art next year in school, which is awesome, and I probably wouldn't have done that if I hadn't been on this trip. And then something else I learned about myself. I learned that things are really complicated, which is not just necessarily about me, but like I learned just how, I feel like I learned that I wasn't quite as open-minded as I thought I was, but I feel like I'm more open-minded now. And I learned about like, I don't know, that everything is just a lot more complicated than I thought it was. And like that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just like we talk a lot about the Arab-Israeli conflict, obviously, because you can't avoid that when you're in Israel. But like talking about peace and like talking about people from both sides and hearing opinions and like what it feels like to like live here and especially be here while like active parts of the conflict are going on, like it's so complicated. And I learned that about myself, that like nothing is like my opinions aren't as set in stone as like I might have thought they were, and that was really interesting. So, yeah.
Something surprising this summer.
Something surprising. Well, something surprising. There were lots of surprising things. The first surprising thing was ibexes, which I didn't know existed, and then they're everywhere around here. But more seriously, something surprising. I guess. Something surprising. I guess I was surprised to find how, again, this is going to sound so cheesy, but like how easy it was to like get to know people in 5 weeks. Like it was, I was surprised that it was so intense, I guess, that like the, I was surprised to feel like I like actually felt things, and like that, I don't know, I'm not a very like publicly emotional person generally, which is surprising, I'm sure, to anyone who's actually seen me on this trip, because it was surprising to me that like a lot of the conversations that we had were just like very intense, and like it wasn't always fun, and it wasn't always like, oh my gosh, I'm having such a great time, but it was always like, I always felt like I was learning, which was, I don't know, I guess it's not like surprising per se, but like it felt really worthwhile that like, even though I wasn't always having fun, even though I wasn't always like having a great time and like knowing exactly what was going on and everything, it just like, I always thought that I like could look at it a different way, and that was surprising.
A memorable moment.
A memorable moment. There have been lots of memorable moments. I think, I don't know, one moment that really struck me was when like we were swimming in the Kinneret, and it was like the sun was setting and it was beautiful and amazing, but then earlier that same day we'd been talking about like the current situation going on like in Gaza, and like how there had been like rockets all over Israel, and like it was just so, like that contradiction was so interesting to me, and like that was, I don't know, that was really memorable, because for me that represented a lot of stuff throughout the trip, that like there's the good, and then there's the bad, and they're so together, and it's like in the same place. So that was a memorable moment. I'm trying to think of others. Well, I guess, okay, the first like 3 days were just a lot of memorable moments, because we were in the desert, and like that was, I've never done anything like that before, and like that was like sleeping under the stars, that was amazing, and then just like hiking and being with people that like we barely even knew each other, and like I just, like, for example, I just like started talking to Nava about like a movie that we both watched like 3 years ago, and like it was just, it was interesting to just like, things just happened, and like I don't know, it was fun.
Can you share with me 1 or 2 tools that you're looking forward to taking back home?
Yeah, so one of them is definitely the co-counseling thing that Leora had us do, which was like where we broke off into pairs, and then one person talks while the other person listens, and we all really, really liked that, so we did that like a bunch. But I really think it was so useful and so like interesting to do, because like sometimes you don't realize it, but you just need people to sit and listen to you, and sometimes it's better for you just to sit and listen and to not feel obligated to say anything or to like do anything, just to like listen and sit there and be there while someone talks. So that's something that I really like connected with, and I think that I really want to take home and use. In terms of more abstract tools, I guess, something I personally learned was that it's, all of this sounds so cliche, but that it's like living as like a Jew in America, you know that you're different, and you know that it's like your Jewish identity is a part of you, but it's not all of you, and it's, I feel at least that my like Jewishness makes me different, and like here I also felt different, but for a different reason, because my Judaism was different, not because I was Jewish basically, and it was, I want to be able to take that distinction and bring that home too, and just like appreciate the difference, and not be ashamed of it, and not be like, well, ashamed is not the right word, but just like don't, I don't know, it was interesting here to see that like your Jewish identity and your identity as like a person are like so deeply intertwined, and I feel like mine are not, and so I really would like to like bring back like a lot of the Jewish ideals that we talked about, like being a good person, and like tikkun olam, and like community service and all that, and like really try and connect those so that it has more meaning, I guess, or like more direction. So
Anything else about Nesiya you want to share with us now?
it was really fun and I loved it, and I can't imagine having it any other way, and I'm really glad that I was here this summer and that I got to meet all the people that I did and have all the experiences that we had, and I wish that it could go on for a couple more weeks, but unfortunately we're done now, so yep.
Great. Thanks, Caroline.
To do that, and like I would never have gotten to see that whole aspect of like what Israel is like for me, a lot of like what was hard and what was challenging was like hearing beliefs or like opinions, political opinions or religious opinions or whatever.
With your name, where are you from?
I'm Caroline, and I am from Durham, North Carolina, in the United States.
So tell me about your summer.
Well, when I came to Nesiya, I wasn't really sure what to expect because I've never been to Israel from all over the states that have like different religious backgrounds that are like similar to or different from mine, but then also like to meet Israelis was like it sounds kind of cheesy, but like that's really what made the experience for me, because like I feel like on a lot of other programs like I would never have gone for, so it was like a totally new experience, and I was a little bit nervous because I don't speak Hebrew, and I basically never met anyone on the program before, so I was kind of nervous about that, but it was really amazing for me to not only like get to see Israel and like be here in a place that's like there's so much conflict and there's so much history, and I mean it's a really cool place, so that was really amazing to be in a place like that, but it was also really cool to get to meet people, first of all